Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in decentralized and open source and permissionless systems built on stacks secured by Bitcoin. So today we're going to recap the Bitcoin Innovation Summit, and it was just a phenomenal event. And before we jump into that, Kurt, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. I'm glad that I actually took off yesterday to watch the Bitcoin Innovation Summit. So I caught a couple uh, presentations. So I'm looking forward to discussing it with you, Zero.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. I was in and out of each of the presentations. I just, from beginning to the end, it reminded me of the launch event, but just a scaled down version, but really focused on what are people building, what are the innovations happening, what are some of the network improvements upcoming, and I mean, just super stoked to see the growth. And before we jump in, one of the things that I love the most about Stacks and the ecosystem is we really are Bitcoin centrists, like Munib has said. We we bring others in, no matter what you're building, no matter where you are. If you believe in the mission and the ethos of Bitcoin, and you're here to build on Bitcoin, we wanna bring you into the circle, and just talk more about what you're building, and really be collaborative. It wasn't just stackers there. It was RSK. It was Sovereign. It was people who are building all types of applications, whether it's on the Lightning Network, whether it's on Stacks. So that was just awesome and phenomenal. And I hope we always continue to be collaborative. And that's one of the values at Zero Authority DAO. So I know that's shared amongst all of our stackers, and a long-term perspective. Like Chindu she was just tweeting out about Alex Go and DeFi on Bitcoin. It's a long-term play here.
Definitely. And we can go through the schedule as well. And then I think you've got some screenshots or some comments.
Yeah, I got some screenshots. Would love to just chat about those. Should I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm curious what you caught.
And I apologize in advance. I know some of the screen captures aren't the best, so
Yeah.
I do apologize. So just to start off, I thought Brittany did a really great job highlighting the ecosystem growth and just the partnerships across the board. Some of the things that stood out, because I've been around Stacks since I bought the second ICO, and I've been here a long time. So people, Kurt, you wouldn't believe how many tweets, comments I've always seen when Coinbase, when Binance, when Exchange. These things are here. It's done. Close the book. Now let's get back to building. So you can buy Stacks worldwide. It's on Coinbase. It's on Binance. There are over 410,000 Stacks wallets, and we have surpassed 1 billion in total lock value. I know there was some early comments months back about uh, DeFi Llama has never included Stacks in the total value locked, and so it's slowly but surely coming around. People see that Stacks is growing, and it's undeniable. Any things that stood out for you there?
I actually, yesterday was the first time I heard of DeFi Llama from the CoinGecko research person. And that's a pretty fascinating presentation he gave. Maybe you covered that later, but yeah.
Yeah, I did. And just another thing too, the Clarity smart contracts being deployed, and 1 million Stacks transactions since launch. I mean, these are just staggering numbers, and it's that hockey stick growth that startups have talked about since the beginning of the mid 2000s, and even beyond that. When you see those type of organic growth numbers, and it's just undeniable. And to get into so this is the total value locked. Arcadico, Alex Go, obviously those are household names. We're going to actually talk to Sungmin and StackSwap on our Twitter space coming up, and they're doing phenomenal work too. A lot of people I know a lot of stackers know about stack swaps, but I don't know outside of stacks if they know that there is a DEX that you can get Miami coin, New York City coin. You can stack your STX for a stack swap token. So they have a really phenomenal product too, and obviously 200,000 NFTs minted. That I mean that's only 8 months old, and already we're climbing the charts on that. Let me get to the one you were talking about though, uh, and I do want to jump
Of
back.
those NFTs, Zero, like how many do you own?
Man, I too many, too
So
many,
I'm the same way. I own too many to count.
too many, and I there's someone who wants me to trade my favorite Indigo, my favorite Wastelander, and if you see this, I do apologize because he's brought so many trades up, and I just that one is hard to let go. But yeah, so I remember Bitcoin Birds launched, and then saw the apes and Indigo and the Badgers and the Degens, and I mean so many any ones that and I'll say too, Kurt, the Degens, I love their Mario Kart version where you could just race them. That is so cool.
Yeah,
Any
I
ones
think
that
that.
stand out to you?
So I was so involved in City Coins, like in what, October or so, just watching the whole thing, that when Megapunk came out, I saw all these pictures of volcanoes, and I'm like, why are people buying these volcano things? Like I had no idea there was going to be a reveal. And so like I went to STX NFTs, and they're like going for 300, 400 stacks. And I'm like, why are people purchasing this? And so I was like, okay, let me just take one. Let me just buy one. So I was so behind the curve on that one.
I did miss Megapont too, and it's funny too. I kind of felt bad because when Crash Punks launched, I a bunch of people started to sell theirs because they were supposed to do the packs and the reveals, and they listed it on there, and I bought a bunch, and they were obviously they had to do the whole V2, but some people probably realized, oh man, I probably should have held on to my Crash Punk. Same with Project Indigo. A lot of people uh, sold their Wastelanders too, and I scooped up a bunch too, and I missed out on the apes. I love the obviously as a Zero Authority DAO, we created the Bitcoin pizzas. So City Packs just came out with their pizza theme, and we have some other cool partnerships too. And STX NFT has been huge supporters for that. But I really two projects I actually love, and we could move on because we're just going to keep it to 30 minutes today. But soda cans, where they have this cool recycler feature on their website where you could replace your can and get something else. And then I also love the Badgers. The Badgers, I'll say, have been really innovative in pushing the boundaries with their VR and with the baby Badgers for the Valentine's Day. I thought that was so awesome.
Yeah. And then Stacks Pops, one of the original ones from last summer.
Oh yeah,
They're
Stack
coming out
Pops.
with a freezer. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to what that's all about. All I know is as long as you sell an NFT and you keep the community engaged and you're building something that the Stacks community, like the ecosystem, is going to use, like I'm in favor of that. Like I bought a couple of them, and like there's nothing, like
Mhm.
no dial tone. So I was a little disappointed in some of them, but the ones that just keep building and keep getting access to other NFTs, like I'm definitely supportive of that. So I'm a little more cautious than I was last fall,
Mhm.
but definitely still excited about. I mean, what Megapon's going to be on Ethereum like in 2 months? I think April.
Yeah, their Kongs are going to be pretty sweet. I wish I uh, held on to a little of my Ethereum, but I swapped it all for stacks last year for the most part. But them and Satoshiables, I think that's
Mm,
really cool. I think one, we're going to start to see more utility across the space, but also we're going to see projects that want to push the boundaries and provide different types of real world access or access to different virtual products too. So I'm really curious how that's going to work out too, and I'm really curious on the partnerships too. I put out a tweet a couple of days ago that I've Vandal and Joey Stacks. I've been so impressed with what they've done with Indigo, with the story, with the characters, and when we were talking to Orlando for Stacker DAOs and Jake Blockchain, your brother, right? Because you're Kirk Blockchain.
Right. You
Jake
didn't tell me
Blockchain.
about this one. Tell me.
Jake Blockchain asked Orlando, if you create your instance of your DAO with the Stacker DAO product, and someone in the community wanted to create a new DAO, can you just push a button and then like create like this new DAO from the DAO? And I thought about that because that's exactly how the Wastelanders came to be, and I love their origination story because they were uh, ape holders. They came together, loved Megapont, what Mark and team is building there, and then they said, "Hey, we're also artists. Let's come up with something really cool too, and do some pixel art." And then they kind of sprang from that tree, right? And then Megapont also announced some really cool tools that they're building for creator platforms too. And so I'm really curious. I can't remember the names, but there's like 3 different web app products for creators that's going to again push the boundaries on what creators can do. And I know Zero Authority, we're developing the creator marketplace so people can provide a service, people can find services, and so these tools are coming together too. I'm super stoked to talk to Tycho about Zesty Protocol too coming up. That I mean, these products are it's just happening now. It's just happening. But to your point, what Yang was saying here, if you look at the actual DeFi products that use Bitcoin, and you look at Ethereum, and there's MakerDAO, Aave, Compound, and I forget Curve, and then there's others too, right? And then you look at Bitcoin, BTC locked in Bitcoin DeFi, it's less than 1%. So that number that shocked me because I didn't realize how staggering the actual wrapped Bitcoin is in Ethereum.
Hmm.
Did you know that, Kurt?
I did not.
I didn't either. I knew the numbers. There was a huge discrepancy, but I didn't realize it was less than 1%. And so uh, Yang had some really cool updates too. So I wanted to go back to the one before. So we are recipients of the grant, and if you guys are watching this, or you guys, anyone out there that re-watches this on YouTube or Twitter, make sure that you are plugged in to what Stacks is doing. If you want to build something, there's funding available for your idea. Like we came together last year and we were providing content, and we wanted to talk to the builders, and we had our first interviews with Arcadico, Alex Go, StackSwap, and XChain, and Moonray, and it was so awesome, and we wanted to create a DAO around content and these creator tools that we want. So Kurt, aren't you working on CityCoiner?
I am.
and and you guys are looking at ways to fund and bootstrap as well, right?
Yeah, we're looking to get some traction first, which I think we have. I mean, within 2 or 3 weeks, there's 225 people on Twitter. And I mean, when you look at City Coins, they're up to 16,000 followers.
Hmm.
So there's definitely a need for more communication. Like there's the official communication channel of City Coins,
Hmm.
but City Corner is kind of like the community. It's like we want it to be like a media outlet where we can report on all things City Coins.
Yeah, that CityCoiner space you guys had the other night too, it really got me thinking because I saw a tweet about uh, building applications on top of CityCoin, and that also reminds me too of one of the important updates that that Jake Blockchain was talking to Jude and Zan and Aaron about, which is hyperchains, right? So you let me drop to that slide, by the way. And before we do too, like go if again if you want some type of funding, uh, visit stacks.org. There's also the Clarity U, and Marvin, super brilliant dude, leads those conversations and shows people how to develop. Kenny the Rogers within Zero Authority DAO, and he's also in the foundation and helping other people. He does really great write ups on tutorials for Clarity language. Maria Verse also she's a master when it comes to this stuff as well. So you can find them on Twitter, and I'm sure all of these people are in different discords. Kurt, I see you in so many discords. Not even
I
funny.
know. You know, I was thinking last night that I need to move away from my phone because I think most people are using desktop for Discord now because there's just so many communities. And as you scroll, it's a lot of scrolling and then just opening up things.
Yeah, and I put my favorites in one folder at the very top now.
Do you? I haven't figured out how to do that. I might need a little tip on that,
No, no,
Zero.
it's just like an iPhone app. Like remember before they
Oh,
had the folders, they kind of copied Android, but yeah, I used to have a bunch of apps on my phone, and now I just have one page with the folders. And so similar to, I just drop them in the top folder, and I just have one folder where I know I need to see these updates from these communities.
and then I know there's a way to like follow on my own server, but I haven't figured that out. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to how you organize your Discord because there's just a lot going on, and I think I'm missing stuff. I've turned off all the notifications. Like,
I would even be interested. Maybe I just need to find some really good tutorials.
yeah,
There are people putting out tutorials on like how to use the bots and integrate them. But just like organization, that's something I need to do better with, and I need some help with too. So if anyone's out there, send us some tweets.
yeah. Alrighty. So what's this one
Hey,
about?
yeah. So hyperchains. They were Jude. He Jude, as masterful as he usually is, and just he speaks with a great eloquence about these really complex technical challenges. And at one point, Jake said, I need about a month to digest what you just said, Jude," because he was talking about hyperchains. And if you think about it, you can have these inherited functions like, and he was making the example of city coins where you can have hyperchains, which is just a stacks implementation on it on top of a stacks implementation. Now, I don't know enough about the the technical details, but I do know there are going to be real world uses immediately, right? From Arcadico, Alex Go, Megapont, Project Indigo, some of the even I still see the top contract being the Free Punks too. The first NFT project, they're still in the top as
Yeah.
contract calls, and so the hyper chains is it's going to solve a huge problem because right now we're at the mercy of just being a chain that when a big project launches, very much like Ethereum in the early days, you see, remember CryptoKitties kept clogging the network like crazy. So that's happening to Stacks right now as we go through this growth phase. We're going to talk to DeWalker too, and super stoked about bringing him on. And a lot of people don't know about DeWalker, but he has a great background with distributed systems. He was at Dropbox for a long time and came over to Hero, and dude is super knowledgeable. And so that'll probably happen in the next week or two. And so he also has some more intimate information on the network upgrade for 2.1 and how hyperchains will work. So that's going to be awesome.
So
But
quick
let me
question, Zero. Is hyperchains part of Zero or 2.1, or are they separate? And do you know the months that
It's
they were
separate.
released?
It's separate. So it sounds like the hyperchains are going to come out in the next couple months, and the network upgrade is coming. And one of the features too is we won't have the cooldown periods anymore, and so
Mm,
that's also going to be really killer. because the cooldown periods kind of really confuse everyone.
I wonder if that applies to like City Coins and Alex as well, because it seems they have a cooldown period as well.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm really not sure. One of the things I did want to mention, though, too, here as in the last 10 minutes, Philip was talking about building building on top of Arcadico and using USDA, and there's the new protocol Lydian, and it's somewhat of a fork from Olympus DAO. So they're going to have treasury management, and they're going to use USDA. I thought it was interesting because we're going to start to see these implementations building the Lego blocks for composability, and and we'll drop the link to the Stacks Bitcoin Summit. So if you guys want to rewatch that or recap any of the things that stood out, but if you are interested in building on Arcadico, the stable coin, and they are looking for people who are interested. So reach out to Philip, and they've been doing a phenomenal job. And and so this was one of the ones that stood out to me here, the final one with Mitchell, Gary, Jason, and Dan. And Dan was talking about that some of the upgrades where you won't have that cooldown period. So I think not having a cooldown period will be really helpful for people, because right now, when especially like when we talk to new people getting into stacks, it's like uh so so they understand like the staking, right? But then they say, well, what is stacking? And then you say, well, you lock up your STX, you can earn Bitcoin, and you have to do it on a 2 week cycle. And then they say, well, why do you have to do it on a 2 week cycle? Why can't you just lock it up and then unlock it when you need? And so then you have to kind of explain how proof of transfer works. And so with that, the elimination of that cooldown period, and just being able to keep stacking it or unstack it, it's going to make it so much easier for people, especially people who you should for the most part maybe lock up, not financial advice, but I know I lock up mine for long periods of time. And it helps too, like when the markets start getting that roller coaster feel and you can't touch it, though that's the best for just humanity in general.
No, it's the truth, because what happens is you sell at the wrong times and you buy at the wrong times. And just having it locked away, it's making a long-term bet, and you're in. And
Mhm.
I found that the smaller bets I make, the bigger impact and return I get. And it's because I don't touch them. I'm like, oh, it was only $1,000 or it's only $500, and next thing you know, it's become super high. But if I put in like $5,000, then I'm like sweating it, right? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I mean,
Like that's like oh, that's a huge chunk of change, and then you if you don't have it stacked, you may get nervous and make a mistake and sell it at the wrong time.
do you have a hard stop in 5 minutes? Because I want to go through the Twitter feed and highlight some of the things people said as well.
Yeah, let's go through the Twitter feed. I'd love to do that.
Okay,
And
I just pulled it up. I haven't actually seen it, so we'll do this together. Let's go through it.
well,
Let's see.
if we see any degens or trolls on there, we'll have to point them out.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so I searched on the hashtag Bitcoin Innovation Summit. Um, did you see the writer thing yesterday? I know it's earlier.
Yeah, I did. I did. Uh, I didn't grab a screenshot of it because I didn't think we'd have enough time. I've followed Ryder since the beginning, and
Yeah,
also huge shout out to Frieger. This guy is an OG. He's been here since the beginning,
yeah.
and he helps everyone with their contracts. I remember I wanted to reach out to him and just talk to him. And he was like, "What are we going to talk about?" And I was like, "Well, just give some updates." And he was like, everyone already knows my updates." So I love Frieger because he's just straight to the point, and he's all about building and collaboration. So with Ryder, I'm super stoked because they I remember the prototypes, and I think they have a final first version. It's this really sleek wearable
Yeah,
that does digital ID.
yeah.
Did you
I
tune in for that?
I tuned it in, and I was just surprised that they were doing a hardware product, but their response was like Ledger has a hardware product as well, so why not? And like not everyone needs to do software. And I thought,
Mhm.
hey, I'll buy one. So I was like,
Yeah,
all right, let's
yeah,
go back to the summit real quick.
yep.
This is just an intro. I was hoping to find some things that people said. Here, let me update this. I don't think it.
By the way, uh, I enjoyed the conversation with Bitcoin Zay and Patrick. That one was it's just cool to learn more. I think the Bitcoin academies in Miami, the Miami Bitcoin academies, I just that's that's really underrated when you think about it's going to these kids are going to learn about Bitcoin at a pivotal moment in time and just like in their early and formative years. And there are people that are very knowledgeable talking to them about this. And so they're going to grow up in a world where Bitcoin is the standard. And I just thought that was just really insightful, their conversation.
Yeah, look at what Kenny wrote. It says, never been more excited about the future of Bitcoin and stacks. Bitcoin Innovation Summit was incredible. So much potential to build life-changing technology for so many people. LFG. I mean, it's just I thought there was more comments like that, but yeah, I definitely agree with Kenny.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if everyone was using that hashtag. And maybe the next one around we'll have to tell people please use that so we can capture it too.
and I didn't realize that there was two tracks. So as I saw this agenda, I thought I was going to be able to hear like Jake and some other people, but there was two of them. There was like the ecosystem and developer. So I need to rewatch the developer ones.
Now, on the YouTube live stream, they had the ecosystem, and so you had to toggle back and forth between the developer. But I think they did put the developer because I remember tuning in and I saw that they did put it on the YouTube. I believe they
They may
added.
have tagged it on the very end because it wasn't 7 hours. It was only like a 4 hour summit or a 5 hour summit. So they may have put it here somewhere.
Yeah, because at one point Will was on the developer track talking
Yeah.
about the grant proposals.
But yeah, it was. Uh, what I want them to do is add the timestamps to that video, and then I can just click for the ones I missed.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, that'd be nice at the chapters.
or the timestamps to the video, right? Or the
Mhm.
chapters. Yeah.
Yep,
Cool, man.
cool. Well, so in the upcoming weeks here, we're gonna talk to StackSwap on the Twitter Live or Twitter Space. DeWalker is going to be on the next one here coming up, and
Mintery.
no major holidays or anything. What Easter is way down the road, right?
Yeah. We got Mintery coming up as well. So someone will be representing the Mintery to discuss all that's
Yes.
happening there. It's been like week 4, I think it is. And so there's only 1 or 2 more weeks. And I'm curious for an update.
Yeah, I believe you pronounce it Yana.
Okay.
She's gonna come on, give us an update. The Mentory is another one that I really think is super fascinating, and I can't wait to see what NFT projects come out of that.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you hopping on a live stream.
Hey, thanks so much, Kurt. Appreciate it, and looking forward to the next one.
Sure. Have a good one.
Take
Zero.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Perfect.